Swiffer Duster. Love it or your money back.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett, hitting right at what matters most to all of us here in the heart of Tennessee. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGNS, AM, FM, and online. We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning. This is Bill Krause on a wonderful, a little cloudy Thursday morning on the WGNS Radio Roundtable. And we are always so delighted and so enthused to have a dear friend, a gentleman that just really is a mover and shaker of not only Murfreesboro, not only Middle Tennessee, not only the state of Tennessee, not only even national education, Dr. Sidney McPhee, the 25th year?
24 years.
24, almost
yes,
25
almost
years
25.
as president of Middle Tennessee State University. And Dr. McPhee, I'm going to have you introduce your guest that you brought, who almost has your numbers in years with the university, 20 years. So we've got nearly 45 years of hands-on experience guiding this university to its greatness, guiding this university to its growth, guiding this university is playing a huge role in the lives of thousands of young men and young women. Not all young men and young women, but a goodly number.
Right.
So, Dr. McPhee, would you give a formal introduction of your guest?
Yes. Good morning, and as always, thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation with you about our university and our partnership with the city and the county. And we are just thrilled this morning to have as a guest one of our distinguished faculty members, and I don't use that word lightly, Dr. Murat Arit, who is a distinguished professor and chair of excellence in our Jennings A. Jones College of Business, is with us this morning.
But I love his academic background because he and I shared public administration.
He is absolutely world-renowned, and that is not an exaggeration. He also heads up our Bureau of Economic Research and is one of the top economic researcher really in the United States. And we're so pleased to have him with us this morning on the show. And we invited him so he can tell about the incredible work he's doing in the center and at the university. But also, he just completed a very impressive study of the economic impact of this university, not only in Rutherford County in Middle Tennessee, but statewide with regards to again, the contribution that over 150,000 alums of this university that makes for the state of Tennessee. And so he'll be discussing that and sharing some very exciting news about the economic impact of our university.
You want to begin with that? And first of all, you were born in Turkey.
Yes.
And you brought a great historical and great cultural awareness and knowledge to this country 30 years ago when you landed in the East Coast.
Yes.
And you've been here in Rutherford County 20 years.
21.
21? Oh,
yes.
We've been talking so long, I lost a year. So, what is the exciting news that Dr. McPhee is having us sit on the edge of our chair for?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for kind introduction. It's a beautiful introduction. And also I appreciate your leadership here, at this university. When I came here, I met you, and hey, since then, it's so many big things happen here. It's a growth is tremendous, not just the university, but the community itself. And I also thank you for inviting us, being here. Now, just give you a big picture of what the results show. Our alumni is the driving force of the economic growth in this region.
Wow.
And especially in Middle Tennessee, but across Tennessee. And not only here, we also have very concentrated alumni in Georgia, Alabama, Texas, North Carolina, and California. So it's across almost every state in the union have
probably
our alumni.
internationally, too.
Yes,
Indeed.
and this is a big driving force. So this is a kind of big picture impact of our alumni. And in terms of the total numbers, it's over $15 billion. That's a very conservative estimate. I'm saying conservative estimate because we survey our alumni, but we just, because of the time constraint, we didn't have enough time to fully account or capture our alumni entrepreneurs that employ tremendous number of people out there. We just assume that they employ at minimum level, it's like 3-4 people each of our alumni.
Which is very conservative.
It's a very conservative. So it's I would say, it's a $15 billion is tip of the iceberg that we see, in this report.
That is amazing. And, you still have to get credit to the thousands and thousands of alumni who may not be the leaders of their organization or the entrepreneurs, but the men and women who are doing the tasks on a daily basis, creating the ideas, creating the research, implementing the research.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's unlimited, I would imagine.
Absolutely. And specifically, I would like for you to tell the listeners about the specific impact for Rutherford County and the city of Murfreesboro in terms of the study and results of that economic impact.
It's when we look at Rutherford County, the impact is tremendous. Actually, it's I hope he doesn't mind quoting him. I would like to quote Paul Latour. He's president of the Chamber of Commerce.
He's been on the air a number of times with us.
Yes, he says, without MTSU, no Rutherford County. So it's just how impactful the university is, so from his perspective.
Sure.
I'm kind of a little bit rephrasing what he said, but I agree with his view on this one, because when we look at the employment numbers, almost 26% more than 1/4 of non-farm employment here tied to MTSU.
Fantastic.
That's just assume that MTSU is not here. You're gonna see a big hole there. It's impossible to fill it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and just to amplify that point, I can tell you the number of requests that I get very regularly from mayors from surrounding counties like Williamson County and others. And in fact, the Davidson County, the Nashville Chamber of Commerce have asked me, I've served on that board at least on 2 different terms. And in fact, they just approached me a couple of months ago about serving as membership chairman of that board, because they tell me that every time they go out and recruit a business for that area, they ask about the workforce.
Exactly.
And they ask about MTSU. And so to imagine that MTSU not being in this community and the value that we bring is really a significant thought and impact. And so we certainly add more to this city and to this county that we are here as if we were not here.
Well, you were talking initially about alumni and the impact of alumni. How many employees? Well, let's get 2 numbers. How many employees currently approximate at MTSU, and what is your current enrollment?
Yes, our employee, both part-time and adjunct and full-time, is about 3,000. Full-time, about 2,500. When you add the adjuncts and part-time, it's about 3,000
If you took those 3,000 out, what would the consumerism be in Rutherford County?
Absolutely. And I hear businesses tell us all the time that during the summer, now we have a very robust summer program. To your question about the number of enrollment, we are approaching about 21,000 students. When we have the summer session, that drops down to about 8 to 9,000 students, which is still very large
Sure.
for a summer enrollment. And many of the businesses tell us that they immediately see the impact, the economic impact
Exactly.
between the summer session and when the regular semester rolls around. So you add not only our alumni and our students, but then we draw for conferences, for sports events. We are actually, because of university, we are actually the center for sports in the state. With the TWSA, the basketball, men and women's basketball. We have spring fling. We have many of the activities, sporting activities, are drawn to the city and the county because of MTSU.
And you only have to ask the hotels here how they respond.
Absolutely.
You know, it's if you look at gross domestic growth component, it's what drives the economic growth.
Yes.
Consumer spending is basically make up 70% of that growth. And with the 25,000 nearly population here, MTSU in that regard is a really driving force from that perspective. We are not talking about alumni spending power.
Sure.
That's also a huge drive. So you need to really have those kind of elements in order for a region to fully, go forward in many areas.
When we had a couple of weeks ago, she's a regular on the program, the executive director of downtown Murfreesboro, and she brings 2 of her members each time, and she had 2 restaurants. I said, I'm sure somebody has thought of this far before I have, but I would imagine summertime you have a lot of families, parents, checking out the campus. You should have a gift. Here's a discount for dinner, a discount for lunch, downtown square, in order to get to know the community as well as the campus.
That is really an excellent suggestion and an idea, and I think we're going to follow up on that.
Oh, great.
Because we do have, not only during the summer and during the fall when parents come again, but we do have on a daily basis hundreds of tours where prospective students and their parents come from all over the state and all over the United States actually to tour our campus and to see our programs, and they usually come for a weekend. And so to be able to provide that information, and during our orientation, where we orient about 4,000 to 5,000 incoming freshmen with their parents, and that's a 3-day event. So I think
the restaurants we have here, both family-owned as well as even the chain, certainly that's a market out there.
And they're excellent restaurant. And so I'm going to make a mental note of that and follow up with our partnership with people on that. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, currently I have a class, and I have 6 student teams, and they are tasked to explore how we can connect downtown with MTSU, and they are working on 6 different projects. We have green space, parking, crashing the commons, and bringing downtown to MTSU also. It's like it's a both-way street. We need to make sure that exchange happens.
I'm not suggesting this because it's a cost item for you, but I do it and have done it all my years of teaching in political science. And in fact, I've got it going right now in 2 of the colleges I'm teaching at. The students are broken into teams of 3. Totally, I think we have 6 teams and 18 students. And they are to find, within a 10-minute commute from the campus, a restaurant that the teacher is going to take them to lunch or dinner, whatever time the class may fall. But then they have to make their presentation as a political presentation, the advantages, not just the fact that it's good food, not just the fact that it's unique. And then we go into the balloting, and if we have 6 proposals, we then knock out one, then we have knock out the next one. So we have a series of. what ultimately turns out is what they had predicted as the winner when there were 6 usually doesn't turn out to be the winner because of collaboration on the remaining votes on the ballot. And it becomes a great political exercise, and then they thoroughly enjoy eating. It's my little treat, but it's what I love with the students.
You're just full of great ideas,
Well.
Dr. Krause, this morning, and that is excellent. That's very, very, very good.
If we were to look at alumni, how many of the alumni, and I'm sure this goes without question, will retain a linkage with the university as a potential internship location if they're a business, as a particular job opportunity that people may be. I have always seen in recommending graduates to programs, I said, if you can find a linkage of a fellow graduate, may have been 10, 20, 30 years before you, there's a bridge. They remember going up the steps to Peck Hall in their classes a couple of decades ago. There's a linkage. Build on the relationship of current students with your alumni.
It's based on our survey. It's hard to say because we didn't really ask that question. It may be, different angle, different type of study and initiative. But I would say one thing. Based on our survey, alumni wants that link, mentorship, and it's a networking opportunities here on campus. So in fact, they said, we like to see more of those events and activities so that we can come and, create the synergy with the faculty and also, connect with the students for future engagement. Of course, the internship is a critical part.
Sure.
But mentorship itself is one of the key parts of professional growth and also networking. So we hope, at least from my perspective, I think MTSU is doing, making significant effort in that direction, and we would like to see more. And I think it's going to happen more of those things.
And just that, I think tracking that would be really important because I can't tell you the number of times that I get calls from business leaders, and many whom are MTSU graduates or connected to MTSU, asking us about connecting with the university, different areas of the university for internship. A good example is just a few weeks ago, we actually hosted the Commission of Labor for the state on our campus, and she was bringing her top deputies to talk about how the university can connect with business and industry to provide internship and really work-related experiences for our students. And so there are times that I would refer them to the College of Business, or if it's dealing with our concrete construction management program, to that department. But this perhaps is something that we should perhaps do a better job of tracking, because it does happen in a significant way.
Yes.
We'll be right back. We have to take a break, but we're having a wonderful conversation with Dr. Sidney McPhee, almost to his 25th year as president of Middle Tennessee State University, and Dr. Murat Arik. Did I do it right? Arik?
That's right.
Wonderful.
He's the director of business and economic research. We've got some fascinating questions for you coming up. Stand by.
Efficient 3-bedroom, 3-bath home located in the highly sought-after Black Fox Crossing neighborhood. Enjoy the convenience of 2 primary suites and a 2-car garage. Recent updates include new flooring in the living areas and bedrooms, as well as fresh paint throughout. This home comes fully equipped with appliances, including a washer-dryer and an extra fridge in the garage. For more information, call Chip Walters at Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, 615-542-1915.
This holiday season, let's make it magical with First Shot Foundation's Christmas for the Kids. Help bring Christmas joy to Rutherford County kids who need it most. Your support helps provide toys, warm clothing, and a reason to smile. Several local leaders have offered to match funds for the first $10,000 raised, so every dollar you give means $2 for local kids. You can be the reason a child's eyes light up with excitement this Christmas. Go to First Shot Foundation on Facebook to find out how to give. That's First Shot Foundation on Facebook. Are you tired of feeling like just another number with your insurance provider? At Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, Agent Rick Hall prides himself on offering personalized service that puts you first. Every client's needs are unique. From personal home and auto coverage to tailored business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, where you're more than just a policy number. You're a neighbor.
Murfreesboro is conducting a special census, and we need your help. Why? Because our population has grown since 2020, and more people means more funding for our community. $175 per resident per year. This is Mayor Shane McFarland. Please fill out the secure online form at murfreesborocensus.com or complete the mailed form. List everyone living in your home. It's that simple. The special census helps us plan for growth and better services.
Count me in.
Hey, count me in.
And count me in too.
Participate today, and you could even win a $100 gift card.
Rutherford County is one of the fastest growing communities in Tennessee. This is Mike Klassen, the General Manager at Middle Point Landfill. As a Class 1 landfill, Middle Point accepts non-hazardous municipal solid waste, approved special waste, and commercial waste. We have served this region for 2 decades, providing free disposal to all Rutherford County residents and low-cost disposal to Rutherford County businesses. Learn more at middlepointlandfill.com. For public services, we are sustainability in action.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
I've got hay.
Here's Tom Sweat with AmeriCare Services Incorporated.
AmeriCare's moisture control services include mold testing, mold remediation, crawl space repair, vapor barrier, sump pump installation, radon testing, radon mitigation, and basement waterproofing. If there's something wrong in your crawl space or basement, we can probably help. Just ask for a free inspection.
893-7111.
All the best of the best to get rid of your pest.
AmeriCare Services Incorporated.
You've depended on WGNS for local news for 77 years, and we thank you. Don't miss the 10th anniversary for the African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County. It's this Saturday night in MTSU's Student Union Ballroom. The evening includes a dinner theater and a silent auction. The tickets are $65 for adults and $30 for ages 22 and younger. Get in touch with the African American Heritage Society of Rutherford County. Again, that's this Saturday night at 7 o'clock over at MTSU's Student Union Ballroom. A big arts and crafts sale coming up Saturday, November 16th. That's not this weekend, but the one after this, and that's at First United Methodist Church. An arts and crafts fest, plus a bake sale. Again, that's Saturday, November 16th. We also remind you that the Red Cross is critically low on blood. So please give the gift of life to our local Red Cross. Right now, phone them and set up an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Phone 800-RED-CROSS. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
Cloudy skies in store for this afternoon. We'll have highs in the lower 60s. For tonight, cloud cover, a low of 45 and a high of 60 degrees Friday. I'm meteorologist Michael Caron, News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 55.
We're powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Kick off the holiday season downtown Murfreesboro at the annual Christmas tree lighting powered by MTE. It's Friday, December 6th, 5 to 8. Enjoy caroling, a visit with Santa, and watch the tree light up. Downtown Murfreesboro, December 6th.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
This is Bill Krause back on the WGNS Radio Roundtable on a Thursday morning edition and having not only a delightful but a highly informative visit with Dr. Sidney McPhee, the wonderful president of MTSU, and Dr. Murat Arik, who is the director of business and economic research. We're hearing a lot of details, a lot of numbers, the impact when you begin to think of the impact on businesses, the impact on local and regional government, the impact on the state and nation. But before I have you talk about that, another idea came to mind. What would be interesting? Let's suppose you compiled a list of your graduates who lived outside the United States, international. And let's say you had a half dozen live in Turkey. I'm going to go back to Turkey. So somebody is planning from this area, graduate, current student of MTSU, who's planning a trip to Turkey. Wouldn't that be a person to reach out to in Turkey to say, hey, I'm coming. Do you have a few minutes? Do you have some time to show me Istanbul or Ankara or Constantinople?
Istanbul, Izmir,
Okay.
yes.
And to create linkages to visit people who could host you possibly in that particular country.
I think that would be a wonderful thing, and you could do that.
Yeah.
And in fact, we have some visits to Vietnam, some other regions, as far as I know, actually similar things happening. And we are starting to do those kind of activities. It's a kind of matter of actual tracking how many people, we have in that country, where they live, what they do, and then, having occasional trips. It's just once in a year, probably.
Sure.
And yeah, it may work wonderful.
We have a specific example of that.
Okay.
About maybe 8 years ago, I took one of our alums. In fact, he passed away recently, but he gave us the $12 million to build and actually purchase the old hospital, Woody Miller. We took him to both China and to the country that provided. We have a partnership where we have over 250 alums that, including the Deputy Prime Minister in Bangkok, Thailand.
Wow.
In the 70s and the 80s, the government sent all of their civil servants to MTSU to get their degrees. And so we have about close to 500 alums in that area.
Wow.
And I established our first International Alumni Association in Bangkok that included the former Deputy Prime Minister of the country, a husband and wife team that owned one of the top business hotels. And in fact, we had a number of alums, including one of our current board of members, trustees, Pam Wright, who visited Bangkok, Thailand, and I connected her to our alums there who took them on a tour of the city. So we have alums across. We have done that, and perhaps we need to do that even more because they're all over the world.
You're just generating ideas on my part. I don't know why. I think I love the creativity. You know what I would love to see, whether it's a course or integrated into a course, that you have the entire 15 weeks a visit on Zoom, a visit from different parts of the world from a graduate who is sharing with the class culture, sharing with the class, if you, as a political scientist, sharing with the class political insight, and so forth. And you create a global network on a weekly basis, internet or Zoom, and at the class. Now, you've got a time situation and a time difference. Not tape, but you just may have to schedule it like 8 in the morning to make a 7 p.m. TV time.
And with the technology these days,
so easily.
Absolutely. Again, I give you another check mark. I mean, that's three. That's three nuggets. Great
that's
nuggets
beautiful.
there. That you, on a serious note.
I love
good ideas.
all my life. Love to be creative as a city manager, as a nonprofit, and as an educator. Love to create ideas. Have to make sure the idea is implemented, though.
But you have to have the ideas first.
Absolutely. And talk about the construction and the impact of construction on campus.
Yes. During at least my tenure as university president, we have, through new construction and renovation on our campus, the last 20-something years, we have invested, and the state has invested, over $1.6 billion of new construction and renovation on this campus. Just think about that and the impact that
if you want to play with numbers, how many people were actually working on campus as a result of the construction? How many jobs created? How many jobs filled?
Well, let's bring it home as the current situation on our campus. We have about $300 million worth of construction going on right now.
What's some of the projects?
That includes, we're completing a $78 million new applied engineering building that will be opening up this spring for our mechatronics engineering and other applied engineering program. We have a $66 million athletic performance center that will be opening up this summer.
With the latest of technology,
Latest
I'm
of
assuming.
technology. We are actually renovating at the tune of $58 million two of our oldest building on campus, Kirksey Main. Total renovation there that's going on right now will be completed in 2026, and also Rutledge Hall. And of course, the state has been very generous as our world-class aviation program has grown, has become one of the top in the nation. And because of the growth, we are relocating to Shelbyville. The state has allocated $67 million, along with some allocation from the federal government. That's a $100 million project that we're building in Shelbyville for our world-class aviation program.
And you have contracts with some of the major airlines?
That's right, with Delta, Southwest. In fact, we have a program with Delta. That Delta now is hiring our juniors pro pilot. We have over 1,000 students just in the concentration of pro pilot. And there are chances, Dr. Krause, that when you fly one of the major airlines, there's no exaggeration, there's a likelihood that the captain or the co-captain is an MTSU graduate.
Wow.
And I have the evidence of it because a lot of times when I'm flying out of Nashville or Atlanta or Dallas-Fort Worth, there is an MTSU graduate who recognized me, and I usually go and get a picture of them in the cockpit. So
I'm afraid that if I was experiencing turbulence, I would go up to the pilot and say, "What didn't you study in your particular class?"
Well, so far that has not been a problem, and I don't anticipate
no
it will be
turbulence. Good.
A great program there. So the really list goes on. As you know, we just completed a new tennis court at $8 million. We're in the process of looking at many other projects we have on the docket, and hopefully that we'll get approved this year during the upcoming budget, for building $112 million. That is number 2 on the list for the state.
How much land do you still have that's buildable?
Well, we're not landlocked, and unlike a lot of universities.
Yeah, it would be landlocked. As a graduate of USC, they were landlocked downtown and had a breakout in the satellites.
Yeah, no, we're fortunate in that regard.
If you were measuring, let's talk about hospitality, hotel management. Certainly, Middle Tennessee and the greater Nashville area, hospitality, tourism, travel is a huge segment of the economy and the professional industry. What are you doing about hospitality? Because that's exciting.
Well, we about maybe 8 years ago, we developed a hospitality and tourism management degree program that has exploded in growth. And in fact, just a couple of years ago, we got accredited nationally for that program.
Really great.
We are in the development stage with a very successful developer in building a hotel on our campus to go with that academic program. We have actually partnered with, when we announced that new program, we actually announced it at the Omni Hotel downtown Nashville, and all of the major executives of the hotel industry in the Nashville and Middle Tennessee area were there and expressed great support in the demand and need. And so I hope that we'll be announcing very shortly the planning phases for our hotel that is going to be built near the campus that will be part of our world-class hotel restaurant management tourism program.
And certainly with a restaurant or restaurants, plural, in the hotel, because just the dining industry in itself is something that requires a significant amount. Going back to your research and what you have determined, what else can you tell us from your survey in terms of the alumni have I would certainly assume that the alumni have a strong feeling, allegiance, alliance with MTSU, the ability to feed back, as you spoke earlier, about internships and networking and jobs and so forth. Do you see other resources that can evolve out of the strong alumni program? It's not just the fact that alumni associations send you requests for money. Oh, here comes another request for money. It's more a request for information. Do you see alumni being encouraged to come back either online or in person if they're geographically close to specific upgrading of information programs, seminars, training? So do you see the ability to link the alumni using the university as a continual resource rather than just the resource where they got their degree?
Now, based on our survey, there are a couple of requests actually from alumni. Not, it's just the kind of visual thinking or desire to connect with the MTSU. They want to connect, and they want mentorship and networking, and they want that thing to happen strongly. A lot beyond what we have currently, and they also want support. It's in many cases we go them ask for money, donation, but
you need
they
it.
want
Take money.
They want also support for especially startups and innovation related funding. So they want to bring something to the market. They want to be more entrepreneurial, and they want that kind of the support may not be just financial. Space, events, pitches, and it's a competition, and it's frankly just plain mentorship by faculty. It's like it's a step by step, going to the destination that they want to go. So these are some of the things that alumni wish to see happen. And we are actually currently working. It's just, of course, it takes it's time to build some of those elements. But I think we have all the elements here currently ongoing on campus, executive education, and some other activities, and those things will encourage lifelong learning and connect more those alumni with the MTSU.
And I want to add to that that Dr. Reed mentioned our executive education initiative. We have Dean Heems, Joyce Heems at the College of Business. I think she's in her first year here at MTSU. And she is moving and has really expanded in the Miller Education Center, the first floor, a major program dealing with businesses, training and providing support for industry. And I think you will be hearing more about that because she has some.
You may want to bring her next time on your next visit.
I would like to bring her, and I also like to perhaps bring, with your question, the executive director of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center, Dr. Pat Gio, because he provides through that federal grant program a lot of work and support for business and industry throughout the state. And the headquarters is here at MTSU, and there are 26 centers around the state of Tennessee. MTSU is the lead for that. So those are two guests that I think
next
would
time we
add
will
to
schedule.
your,
We'll get back to you, but I want you to be thinking of something while we take our break. Can you recall or think who are among the oldest alumni that you have? The oldest alumni. I'm going to throw a fourth idea for you. We'll be right back.
Let's go!
ABC Wednesday, country music's biggest night, the CMA Awards.
Let's party, Nashville!
Kicks off with this year's must-see collaboration, Post Malone featuring Chris Stapleton live. With electrifying performances by Lainey Wilson, Shabuzi, Ashley McBride, Luke Bryan, plus Thomas Rhett and Teddy Swims. Woo! Luke Bryan, Peyton Manning, and Lainey Wilson host the CMA Awards live Wednesday, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream next day on Hulu.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
If you want to get some barbecue, I'll tell you how to do it. Head for the Slick Pig and you're into it. Just walk through the door at 1920 East Main and your nose will send a message right to your brain. Say, smells good. And barbecue. Slick Pig. They got ribs and beans. Got spicy wings. Slick Pig.
A Murfreesboro tradition. 1920 East Main.
This is Pastor Nikki Ajapong, lead pastor of Holy Hill Chapel.
Here are sermons on WGNS Sunday night at 7:30.
Our sermons are loaded with the keys of the kingdom. If you don't have the keys, you'll be stranded.
Visit Holy Hill Chapel, tn.org to hear our podcast.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary. Just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee, and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
This is Bill Krause in the final segment of the WGNS Radio Roundtable, Thursday morning edition, having a, hopefully you all agree with me, a most informative, and we always have a delightful visit with Dr. McPhee. He's a good friend and certainly reflective of the phenomenal resources we have in Murfreesboro and all of Rutherford County. So we have Dr. Sidney McPhee in his almost 25th year, president of Middle Tennessee State University, and Dr. Marat Arik, who's the Director of Business and Economic Research. I was asking about old-timers, seniors, because where I'm going with this, and not necessarily the gentleman you honored last Saturday at 99 years, but it would be interesting, again, using the technology of Zoom, etc., to have classes have the opportunity to have a visit with a senior and ask them, what was life like in the 1950s, the 1940s? What was life like? What did you do for fun? What did you do for learning? What were your aspirations? What did you think of the future of the world? What happened when man landed on the moon in 1969, and so forth? And again, using alumni to create the bridge with current students.
Another great idea. I'm telling you, I need to come back here every week because you're giving us some really great suggestions. We have a number of alums who have been the foundation of our university. And I always remind folks that, the university is 114 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And
how many 114 years? That's the age of the oldest person in America, 114.
That's correct. But we have a number. I can think of one who is still engaged. He and his spouse with our university comes to a lot of the events. I think about Ross Spielman. Mm-hmm. I think he's a 1955 graduate.
Wow.
And every time I get to see him, we get to talk about the university, and he and his wife, Eva May, and I'm sure there are others. And again, that's really a very good idea. We have a number of programs in gerontology through our College of Basic and Health Sciences that offer programs and courses dealing with senior citizens, and being able to capture that history, that oral history of not only the university but their personal lives and what they have contributed to the growth of the community and the university, I think will be of great value. So another great idea.
Well,
Bill.
it's actually not only the benefit that's obvious, but the question is, and I'm not talking about those folks that are still very active and very much in the limelight. I'm talking about there are many, many people in their older years that nobody asks them about life. Nobody asks them questions. Nobody asks them their opinion, etc. And to allow them the opportunity to talk, the opportunity to share. You know, I had gone through years and years ago the training for people who were near passing. And one of the things we learned was when you're talking to somebody where life is coming to a close, not just say, you're going to beat this, you're going to outlive the doctor. No. You specifically say, when you were a teenager, what'd you do that was a little mischievous? And let them have a laugh of what they did when they were 15. Let them have a laugh of what they did when they were on the third floor of the building at MTSU. And let them relive their lives through our students at MTSU of the personal experiences. You will be doing a therapy on them equal to the learning possibilities and opportunities that the listener will have.
Fully agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah.
So, out looking for the older people, you know, I guess I'm not going to put myself in that category.
Well,
but
what I will do is then when you make that kind of suggestion and volunteer, we're going to hire you to do that.
I will be delighted. I will be delighted.
No, on a serious note.
Well, I say this because this is probably next to Sidney McPhee, probably one of my most remembered interviews, and he just passed away recently, was the former governor of Tennessee, Winfield Dunn.
Wow.
And I went to Governor Dunn's home last year. He was 96, just turned 96. Very much ability to talk, and anybody who does want to pick up on our podcast and see Winfield Dunn, just a tremendous amount of time, and what a gentleman he was, and so forth.
Wow.
So it's that kind of people. I would love folks that have even some of your VIPs who have graduated. You've had a lot in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely.
You've had a lot in the business world, corporate world, etc. That would be, I would be delighted.
That is nugget number 4.
Well,
I'm
now I don't want to take away
check.
from the communications programs of MTSU
No, I don't
with
see
your
that
in-house
happening.
programs.
I don't see that happening.
But
It's addition. It's an added value.
Oh, it really is. It really is. But one of the most interesting things that the two of you bring, and I think this is so reflective of the MTSU family, you're not just an institution. You're not just an institutional bureaucracy. You are human beings. You bring life. You bring living. You bring reality. You bring hope. You bring aspiration. And whether you can bring that back in through the alumni, I think if ever there's a rebuilding in this country, is to rebuild a self-confidence of the individual, not only in their nation and not only in their government, but in themselves. And, if that's a program with the resource that you have with alumni, rebuilding self-confidence. I think that certainly would be the theme.
Wow. I just say wow, because honestly, what a wonderful set of ideas and suggestions. And your last comment really reminds me of the role and the value of MTSU with our 20,000 plus students, many who are first generation college students, many who come from families that when they get an education at MTSU, it changes the trajectory of their lives, and not only their lives, but the family, the lives of their family members. Next to UT Knoxville, and we're very close to that number, we graduate the second largest number of students each year, 4,000 to 5,000 students a year. And these are students who don't come from very wealthy families.
Yes.
These are students who don't drive to the campus with their BMWs or their
Porsches
or whatever.
Lexus.
These are students who are working 20, 30, and 40 hours,
Yes.
in order to fund their degrees. And so the university is really making a difference in the lives of those students. And it will be great down the road to see the impact of those students, as we are seeing with the kind of study that is being done here by Professor Reed.
It's especially 70% of our alumni live here in these 14 counties.
70%?
Yes. So
they haven't left.
When you talk about community, it's like a human being, community, becoming a family. That's the real, it's a manifestation of that. It's like 70% live here. Just to use a technical term, in order for a company to have sustainable competitive advantage, they need capacity and resources. Again, the same is true for the regions, for the counties. And these alumni is the capacity, the talent, the resource for those counties around here to, to move forward, to go beyond where we are right now. So this is kind of incredible power here that fuels the region.
And I like to say that when we bring in students and graduate them, we don't export them.
No.
They
they're
stay
staying
here and
Yes.
become a part of the economic growth and development, and not just economically, but the social.
And that's why the continued linkage between them and
That's
the
true.
university is so key.
Yes.
I'm sure you have all thought of this, but I used to make, and I still do, if I have a student who is a grandparent, an older grandparent, and I had a case a couple of years ago, a lady, her husband had passed away after 65 years of marriage, and she just was in total grief. Her family was very concerned about her. They said, you ought to go back to school, at least socialize. She came back. The admissions put her in my class so I could give her the full motivation, enthusiasm. She was 84 years old when she came back at Motlow, and she was fearful, to put it mildly. She hadn't been in a classroom in 45, 50 years. And so we nursed her, we motivated her, we held her hand, and so forth. Other faculty did the same thing. She went through graduation. She was fearful of going to the graduation ceremony. I said, you have to, for one reason. Your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren have to be there to see you in cap and gown. And I would say whenever you have a grandparent, especially an older grandparent, have them be sure, even if you set a couple of seats for the children, watch a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, a 12-year-old see their granny or their great-granny there with cap and gown. Same thing goes true with these employee graduates, that have them invite their boss.
Yes.
And have the boss involved in graduation so that they can be proud of little Johnny who is graduating. And suddenly the linkage and networking between little Johnny and his or her boss, super.
Well, in fact, during my tenure here, I think we've had like a 82, 83 graduate at our universities. Maybe it was about 10 years ago. But I hope I can get a recording of this session.
Oh, sure.
Because the ideas that you have generated and some of the recommendations are excellent, and I really do want to follow up on some of those.
Well, I
Dr.
still have a
Krause.
love for MTSU, even though I wasn't a graduate there, and I.
Well, I can make you an honorary graduate right here, right now. I bless you as an MTSU graduate.
I had a love for teaching there too until COVID came along, but certainly thoroughly enjoyed my association. Some final comments on the alumni and your survey. Would you like to make some final comments?
The one thing I would say is MTSU really is a powerful force.
Yes.
With its own employment and spending power, including our students, and it's more than 100 years of tradition, and it's just becoming part of this community and fabric of this community. It's really a powerful force for the region, not just here in Rutherford County, but broader Middle Tennessee, of course, across Tennessee, I would say.
Sure.
So it's we have still ourselves, we have work to do. We need to connect with our alumni and bring them to the campus and, have them taste the lifelong learning. Whenever you enroll someone, either 6 years old, 7 years old, they turn into 20 years old automatically.
Yes, exactly.
So it's a wonderful joy. So I want them to come and, enjoy the campus and our educational
And for
opportunities.
every one person you have identified, you have to consider a spouse, you have to consider a parent,
Yes.
maybe even a sibling, who is part of this wider MTSU networking. I had this opportunity once, not at MTSU, still in California, that when a former graduate passed away and I was doing the eulogy for that former student, I was complimenting the wife for allowing us the opportunity to provide the educational opportunities for her husband, who blossomed as a result of it, promoted as a result of it, succeeded in his job and organization as a result of it. And we sometimes don't thank the family that gives up the family member, or compliment to, and as you talked about firstborn, compliment to the foreign-born that this is the first graduate from college, and that the family shared their child with this university.
Yes.
And some final comment, Dr. McPhee?
Well, as always, we do appreciate the opportunity to be on your talk show. And I do want to say that while there are a lot of great things happening at the university, we're not perfect.
We never are.
We strive for perfection. And so we welcome comments from the community as to how the university can improve. But I do want to remind our members of the community the significant value, as you have heard on this program this morning, that the university brings to this community. And we really appreciate the support of this community, and we want to continue to be really great partners with the community, this region.
And what's interesting is not just numbers of people who have gone through the halls and doors and walls, maybe, of MTSU. It's the knowledge and the experience and the challenge and the creativity that they are nurturing at the university.
That's
and
correct.
how do you nurture a challenge? How do you nurture a creativity that suddenly plays a role and impact upon the entire community? I want to compliment and congratulate the two of you and your entire team, staff, the faculty, the staff, support, what have you. We take for granted things so often, and we don't want to take for granted this phenomenal resource that constitutes not only Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, but as you said, 14 counties within Middle Tennessee of 70% of your graduates. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you back in early 2025 with some new team. Dr. Sidney McPhee, President of Middle Tennessee State University, and Dr. Murat Arik, so good to meet you, Director of Business and Economic Research. Keep that research going.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.